please. All right. So first thing, and I'm not sure if we did this Sunday, but let's see, we got 28th. So tomorrow we do have FOMC meeting minutes. This is whatever bullshit stuff. Yeah, 29th unemployment claims. Okay, apparently I can't go that far. So no real data, and I was just looking at that in order to kind of determine what we should expect in the morning, or if we should expect anything at all. We're going to start with IWM because while we did successfully swing to the upside, and some people did hold for that retest, I ended up having to kind of reduce my risk, but we ended up taking this one back up to the upside. Nice punch back, nice floor grab, and stopping basically right around cost basis. You see my box is a little bit messed up right here. But yeah, basically stopping right at cost basis. Perfect target. You did punch through this one, but that is the next high. Of course, this is a pretty solid close. We'll see how this changes as we go to the end of the day. We have an empty space underneath us for a floor retest, so we'll keep that in mind. If and I do this again, when we're looking at targets to the up and the downside, these are opportunities for you to, hedge yourself. You can use those, but that would be somewhere where we could retest tomorrow, considering the fact that we do not have a for sure close above that. But obviously, this does set us up for a pretty, I think, a pretty good move if we can punch back. We have a little bit left in this channel. This channel will give us the gap, and that is really about all we can guarantee at the moment. Of course, if that doesn't happen overnight, then it definitely decreases the probability of us punching back. But obviously, 24-hour time frame, we are closing up against cost basis, so I definitely would understand why someone would be looking at this as a potential move up and over into that 212 area that we talked about previously. That being said,
I was gonna say, no matter what, if we close above 208, we're good to go, pretty much, right?
I mean, higher time frame is singing a slightly different tune, but yeah, not so. Yeah, 208.15. You got the gap there. The only concern I have at the moment is that would be a barrier if we end up pulling back tomorrow or even overnight, because we could gap down, tap,
Yeah,
and then pop up, and that's okay with me. I'm down to ride through that, but that gap fill is in alignment confluentially with resistance. If that breaks, I have no doubt yes, we should be punching up and out, looking to our left, identifying the next target. I have this candle close here at 212, and because this box is kind of loosely formed, I would probably say, yeah, your 214.75 and 215 area would be a target to the upside on IWM. So, yeah. Jesus Christ, where are you? He's in the Tesla factory making robots that swallow, apparently. All right, so IWM. We'll take a look at the Qs really quick. Now, these ones did pretty much what we talked about, right? Popping up, hitting that 521.50. You look at the 24-hour. This is just a, I mean, it is the start of a potential break over that 522.82 mark. That being said, we did leave a fat gap behind us, right? So, the Potter box says we're making new highs. There's, every once in a blue moon that doesn't happen. And I mean, probably even rarer than a blue moon, but you have a little bit of empty space underneath you, which could, again, be an area that even in the morning you could wick down to and reverse off of. And that ultimately would be under 514. So right now it looks pretty good. It looks like a solid, you're seeing a little bit of a pullback here, end of day, after fulfilling all of the empty space up above you. So between now and the end of the day, you need to hold what you got, because what's underneath you now, right? And you could be, maybe by the end of the day, we might be triggering here a leg down, but you have a thin box all the way here to 519.42. If that was to trigger, 517.50 would be an obvious retest area. So that's something to keep in mind. Let's see here. You got a little 5-minute channel here as well. So for some reason, this move up just felt, even though it did what we wanted it to, I mean, we hit some of you guys hit 700-800% trades on IWM. That was awesome. But the way that we moved up on some of the cues just says to me, yes, still upside, but there could just be a pullback at some point, in order to whip that back up to the upside. So again, I'm determining how and what I'm going to do based on the close here, because again, that's as close as you can get to that 24-hour candle close, which gives you, in my opinion, the most confirmation. So, all right. Anyway, SPY. So this one's a little different. But again, as far as that, I mean, you look at the wick, you look at where you opened today, you look at the space that you filled up, you did everything you were supposed to do. We hit 591.71. And so basically it's overnight price action that is going to get us where we need to go. I think even just looking at the other ETFs, but SPY, with that wick, I'm not sure where the hell that came from. But just being able to hold that today, push up, and again, you look over to your left and empty space got filled. So it's just that gap up above you up to 590 or 596.15 that would really be the only solid target to the upside, at least on this lower time frame. But that could and more than likely would trigger a punchback because gaps are easy to rush past, and you would be looking at a 598 target to the upside if this is successful in its punchback. So I'm not really sure what that is, to be honest with you. I'm not even, that could just be a glitch on my chart. If that's real, which I'm not sure, again, if it is, but if that's real, that would kind of give me a little bit more, you don't pull back and wick off of it for no reason. So, this alert, what the fuck? All right. So anyway, just to kind of come to a conclusion here, we are triggering for a potential punchback. We're looking at targets to the upside. The cues, green candle, pop up above the floor. Looking to your left on that, I forgot to give you as the target on that one, but that one's a 526.84 and 528 target. Final target, resting target would be 534, and that is literally the next big move if we can push through this. IWM, that one I think, with the gap right there, yeah, we should be able to shoot through that and start filling up some of the space to the upside. So what's up, milkers? What's up, brother? All right. If you guys have anything that you would like for me to take a look at, I'm going to briefly brush over a couple of things that I am looking at or have. ANF, I have some speculative calls going into earnings. This one just has that pull back into cost basis, rejection at cost basis above, pinched in between the two, good tension, empty space to the upside, decent channel potential there as well. And obviously some hedges to the downside, but I grabbed $98 calls, which is pretty fucking far away. But I did look at how ANF moves on earnings, and it ain't no bitch. It does what it's supposed to do, for the most part, especially when it has the tension. Still holding a little bit of TSLL, and this one didn't achieve. It actually did exactly what it was fucking supposed to. Right, we hit that target. We tried to go up and kind of grab it, but no success there. Obviously, by the end of the day, I was literally just about to say, you made empty space on the downside. You just bounced off this little fucker right here. Now we can use that. Look at that. Even on the lowest time frame, the 5-minute time frame is the 50% mark of that box. So, due to the way that we fell back, right now I don't look at that 24-hour candle as something that can't achieve, and we go again. This is actually something I think I might have to latch on to here for a while, but you look at how you take off, like even this first initial break, you get rolling, right? You get rolling. This is the first green candle. So I'm willing to fuck yeah, I'm willing to let it go, and try to successfully grab the actual 1734 floor and maybe a run up into 1285. Um, thanks for the non-signal. Yeah, no signals here. But that one hit 230 plus percent. Good, great place to really take a lot of profit off the table, and then leave some for what could be a speculative move to the upside. Uh, let's see here. I know some of you guys are in equity with me. Uh, there's no reason really for. I mean, I'm just gonna say this: we did hit a target, a first target for those of you guys in options, or maybe you bought a lot more than I did, and you have, this is just a point that we need to reclaim now. Again, earnings is tomorrow. Still looking at $100. Still looking at 120 for potential targets to the upside, and of course, even zooming out here to the weekly time frame, it looks really clear that again with no, I don't have to worry about any expirations, but it looks like that we will be around the 120 area if this earnings does in fact work out. So, all right, yeah. If you guys have anything you'd like for me to take a look at now, be happy to do that. Excuse me. Apple up. I heard you guys talking about that one earlier. Switch back to IWM here. I need to really focus on that one. That's not a ton of movement overnight, so you would have to see a punch back overnight for this to be, you can speculate beyond that. 211, being first kind of target outside of that. And then you could of course look at 202 as the hedge. All right, or anywhere around that. So, God, allergies are kicking my butt right now a little bit. Okay, so we talked about no fucking way. I don't. Yeah, so I'd have to go back and look at my video, but I'm pretty sure that I said one way to guarantee that Apple will inevitably fall is that you gap up off of the bounce. Now, this doesn't stop it now, but it will stop it or it will guide you down. So, as of right now, 123, 123, right? That's period, end of story. You have your targets marked down below at 190. You have another target right around 186. And then you look to the upside, right? And you have a target right around 220. That would be the empty space target. So makes for a decent trade with the consolidation that we look for. So what needs to happen from here? And because you are in a box, at the moment, it's pretty straightforward that this, whatever that is, right? Probably moving down into the 30-minute. There we are. The answer is always on your fucking chart, not on an indicator. So we need to go ahead and punch over 201.50, and you can see that there's a clear shot up to this next floor of 206 or 205, excuse me. So that's what needs to happen now. Have you done that? No. Close, but it could be, right? And this is again areas where we have confirmation or we don't. You could just simply pop back down. That could also be if you're, have some trend here, anything of that nature, but I would say at this point, if you're going to take something on something like this, right, coming off the floor, it looks good, but because you're in the box and you have a gap down below you, I'd have to look at like a hedge down to 190 or even using the Qs or something that of that nature. But I understand why a lot of you guys would be looking at this. It has good consolidation, does have some empty space even further beyond that into the 230s. It has a decent little downtrend that it never really fully came back and hit, and does look like it's expanded. Obviously, yeah. Okay, wow. So that's way the fuck down there. So that's up in the air now, whether or not you're going to go continue bouncing off of this third floor. You could consolidate and dip. All right. Riot. Pain in the ass. Pain in the ass. Right. Um, for me, it's almost like mandatory that this is, either alerts or set. Fuck. Let's see here. So, box. It's a rough looking box, but you did recover your floor. You gapped up. Your build. I would say you're probably likely to even build a box around cost basis. But with that being said, I would venture to, yeah, I'd venture to guess that 924, but more importantly, I mean, this is a breakout. You need just a straightforward breakout. You still have that $10 target there. Um, that certainly doesn't hurt your cause, climbing back up and reclaiming that box. So, a move over today's high, and a move over that wick, and you're looking at $10. So, um, I have not charted this in a long time, and target hit. So 952, you have empty space underneath you for a retest of 415. You're resting on the wick. So the next target up above you, if my chart is correct, is 475, and that's going to require a candle gapping up above 450 or closing there. If not, and you are unable to do that, that retest is nearly inevitable. Okay, TA 24. Wow. So I believe the last time I charted this, there was two sets of structure, one here and one there. And lo and behold, you are consolidating in between the two. So it's not my job to guess, right? It's my job to react. So looking at this chart, I would I would be looking for the cost basis above at 128.50 or the floor below you at 120, 117 for a leg down to 117 or a punch back up. Oh, fuck you. And a move into that 138, 137 level. So
I think okay.
can hardly hear you, brother. GLD for the long account. Um, hmm. That's a tough one, man. That is tough. Really, really hard to read on that. I would, yeah, you're almost just better off flipping it to the weekly and looking at your box that way. Uh, so the overhead weekly wall is 315.19. You had a big ass green candle. You gapped down to the fucking 50% mark of it. So you need, I mean, and I'm not going to pretend like this chart doesn't almost look like Chinese charts. It'd probably be better for me to chart the future version, but I would say 310.75. There's a little downtrend there. So 315. Uh, Potter's getting burnt out. Nah, man. It's the end of the day, Chief. Outside in the yard. About to put some concrete down, my boy. Uh, shop once it reclaims the 111 floor. You got it, boss. Philo. Yeah. If you're going to take it, you take it there. This could be a retest, or this could be that what you're looking for. You got it. You got it. I like the chart looks pretty good. The channel I think could come up off of the floor and rather than the resistance, so you have more taps off the floor, but other than that, looks good. Starbucks popping up today, finally, right? Getting some movement. You got a couple of days similar, right? Box, box, move. So we boxed and moved. But this still doesn't get us up and out. So the goal overnight here is to break your high of day today, and that should give you your gap fill at 89. All right. Am I in anything? I'm in a few. I'm in a few things, but don't let me be the only reason why you're taking something. Make sure that you're, trying to uh, look for your own setups. And right now, I'm looking for you. So if I say, this looks good, or it needs to break this and do this to go here, then that's literally like a blueprint right there. I say I don't give signals, but in a way, if you know what you're looking for here, I do. Doesn't look bad. I can't hate it right now. It does look pretty good, but I wonder what it's gonna do. Is that a news thing here? Starbucks, no, they don't have earnings, but it is about time for them to get the fuck out of here. I don't like the gap underneath me. That's the only thing that's kind of freaking me out right now. But you could go 17 days out and get 95s for a relatively cheap price to start speculating on it, but it's decently priced. You're basically at your trigger. All right, Groupon, uppies, chart. Okay, yeah, so you don't really have a punchback necessarily. I know I marked it out as that, but on the weekly, however, it does look like that could be the case. 35.75 would be your target there. Um, there we go. Yeah, so I mean, I think that makes for a good break point. This isn't your most beautiful box in the world, right? But it is a small range. So yeah, 29.09, and then trying to look for a journey up to 35.50. Bro, just moving the graph around. How about you move these nuts around? All right. Let's see here. Roku up. Let's see here. Now that doesn't look half bad. What a wild setup. Little channel there. Who is lighting a cigarette or something? Whose mic's open? Find you. Spartan, I found you.
Hey Garrett, quick question for you, bro.
Yeah, what's up?
I've been out of the chat all day. I've been seeing what notifications about the PBS workshop. What channel is all that information in?
Um, what channel is the PBS workshop gonna be in? Like,
Well, I've been seeing Ivy post stuff, but just briefly, I didn't see what channel that's in to get more info.
Yeah, I'll be posting more info by the end of the day, but next week I'm thinking Wednesday around 6:15 we're gonna start, and it should take. I'm giving us a week, um, and I hope you guys. I hope those of you watching this on YouTube, those of you listening right now, take this fucking opportunity because it is. I'm telling you right now, it's better to have me live answering questions, to be there, right? To buy the recording is one thing. That's why it's only $500. But to be there and to ask me questions, that's going to be far more beneficial than you waiting for this next workshop. That's for the future, right? That's for people who don't catch. You guys are like, if I had a choice between the two, right? Unless you're super right brain analytical, you need everything compacted into one, perfectly devised course. Cool. But this is going to be a far better opportunity for you to ask me questions, for you to hear other people's questions, for you to write things down. Um, Fuck it. Start preparing. Get AI. Put it on your phone. Have it listen to me. Whatever it takes. As if you already have the workshop, you're in. I might throw like a $25 ticket charge just because I've been through this 100 times. A lot of people say they're going to show up, and we're going to put like an RSVP thing. I just want to make sure I get a good head count. Well, it's going to be like $25 or something like that. Just most people don't show up. If they don't pay, they don't show up. So $25 or fucking I don't know. I just throwing a number out there. But end of the day, yeah, if you're already in there, if you're, you know, lifetime yearly. If you're looking to join, I told Ivy we'll throw out a 25% discount for people who want to get in on this because this is the last chance. I will not fucking do another live class. Not because I hate it or anything like that, but it is exhausting. And it's also just like one of those things where, I'm putting out something that's going to replace that.
Wait, so when is it?
Next Wednesday is what I'm planning. I haven't officially given the
Okay.
yeah.
My bad. I didn't mean to fuck up the flow. Appreciate it.
No, you're good. All right, so let's see here. Roku, yeah, you've got 1, 2, 3. You've got empty. Honestly, you could fucking chuck $500 at both sides of this with a decent expiration. You might get something. Um, it's interesting, right? It's all in one box. It's up 1, 2, 3. You're either about to see a fucking meltdown to 62.88 and maybe just melt down to the gap, or I think you have a run up to $76. But I think flow wise, right? I'm trying not to count that as one. I think it's more or less, I mean, you could, but it's just a small hold. But it's the 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 with the gap under. Well, I guess you kind of filled it, but that's curious. So either this is an overnight move, and I think that's required at this point. You need to move overnight, and that'll give you a nice rippy up to 76. So what the fuck? Had an alert go off. Can you share that? So if you already have it, that's where like the ticket will be. But if you don't, then you would have to just get the workshop. So what are my plans after teaching this last sesh? You mean tonight? CY trading? Am I swinging UNH sleeps? No. Is young put brothers doing that or something? All right, let's move on. Roku and PLTR upside filled the gap down late. Then what the gap down late? Then the ETF seeing it bouncing and reclaiming the 125.60 overnight. Oh, it almost looks pre-programmed to go here. That's instinctually when I look at that chart, and I guess what I was thinking last time too. So you got a gap up, you flush down, filled the gap. Fuck, dude, I might have to short that. How much are 111 contracts? You said up? Damn. You wanna duel?
No.
Don't be confident, dude. Stand on business.
Well, there's empty space above and below,
Dude,
but I see the
I
below is
could
down
get
more.
I could if it's holding cost basis, if it bounces tomorrow, I could get cooked with a rip up to um, maybe 140, 138.
111's like 29 cents.
Yeah, no, I was just looking at them. Don't buy them first. Me first. Me first. Oh, just kidding. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I might do that actually. It has like a punch down that it's gonna try to achieve. BST makes you want to cream. What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, so I mean, it. I'm not gonna pile into that, but it does look like something. I mean, you got 1, 2, 3 there. Let's see, how did you fall today? Was it all empty? Oh, I might get cooked. So I would say if you pop over 123.70 tomorrow, there's a good chance you could go and retest that 125.50, and yeah, but at the same time, I mean, I could see 115 minimum.
Yeah, I just saw like it had the same setup like all the ETFs. It didn't fill the gap. It held strong when all the ETFs came down,
Yeah.
and then it finally came down. Like, well, hopefully it bounces, but it was more like speculative.
Y'all got an IWM this morning. Uh Last week and this morning, yeah. Law, you can find my TradingView account on there. On what? Macy's. Might be time to move. I've had some good times, I've had some bad times. Good times are above 13, but honestly, fuck Macy's. You got a lot of downside empty space underneath you. I'd want that more than I want up. I don't see a lot of up. What are you looking at? For the upside. Earnings. Oh, earnings tomorrow morning. Okay, so I'm gonna base this off of a fucking empty space. You hit or miss with earnings on Macy's. It's typically not anything crazy. I would say 13.50 if you can go up, 13.85. Downside, I don't really see you moving too much. I guess I would be looking at $8 if you saw like a supreme meltdown, but it's not my favorite setup in the world. Let's see. Alta 440s. Well, if I go up on ELF, you go up. You got 1, 2, 3 here. You're struggling. You got cost basis up above as 530s as a 530 target. I mean, you got a good candle close there, unless something terrible happens overnight, and this ends up being your third rejection. Then that gap fill at 387 would be down below, but it is basically 430 that would be your next trigger to the upside on Alta, and yeah, 440s would be a good target. So.
Yeah, they have earnings anyway. The contracts are like $700.
Oh Jesus! I mean, I could see 500, 503, easy on Alta, but yeah, first target be 460. I think on earnings, if that's the case. If looking up, looking down, it's hard to see as much because you're fucking got so much structure underneath you. I just got my second check, 560. I'm gonna start my day trading day tomorrow after I get my bank set up. Yeah, it's not the money first though. Hopefully you've already gone through, the actual strategy and stuff like that. That's gonna give you the right foundation, my boy.
That's my boy. No, my boy. Father help.
Father help. All right. AMSC. American Superconductor Corporation. I mean, you look clear for takeoff, for sure. You got the floor reclaimed. I think it's the 4 hour here. So me personally, I'd be looking at 28.67 and 31.27. Well, I guess you can't skip 30. 30 is gonna be a decent. That would actually be the technical A to B right there. So VST Vistra Corp weekly. Are you gonna fall? IWM 348. Nah, yeah. 207 maybe. So let's see here. Weekly time frame for VST shows that you grabbed a floor and you're in between the ceiling. So we've got the 24-hour time frame. That has you leaving the box. So, you know, as far as options are concerned, well, like literally your options that you have as far as taking it, you have not a ton. You are trying to reclaim that. I'd be looking right there towards that gap at 192.60. That's going to require a 168.11 punchback and a 180.50 break. So, okay, cool. No way. Yeah, that one pretty much hit my target, I think. I don't know where the fuck I got that target from. So if you want to go up, keep it simple, right? Above 1157, you have that chance today. Today you rejected, so definitely could see a move back down into the 918s. If that breaks, you essentially have, I mean, I would say $9, you're just looking down, but you know, you have 750 that would be directly underneath that. Google. Did you go far out of the money for A&F earnings? I did. Yeah, I'm not going to risk a lot on that, man. Listen, Google is understandably frustrating for anybody who's involved. And one of the things I said last week was, obvious, this box was, you know, closing underneath it was going to be where we call things south. It gapped up today. It is putting pressure up against that higher time frame box, but on the lower time frame, still giving that vibe, right? So we're directly up against resistance. This is where we need to break. Closing up against it definitely could allow for price with market cooperation to gap up, where you would then just have to cross the 174.65 mark, and that's where we could look for a new high. Yeah. But 174.68 would be that break. We talked about this one being a empty space mover up to 180, the 180 mark and 182 mark. So yeah, I know. Damn. All right. What's up, Manny? Let's see here. Walmart. That's a positive note, I will say. Good wick right there, good wick right here, good curl up off of that. I would say you could start leaning towards that upside direction. Even though it's lower time, you know, down here, I would be looking for a move over 98.40 to kind of help confirm that. And then it's 99.67. You got a beautiful pop or beautiful amount of empty space. Longer expiration would probably be helpful because it's fucking Walmart. So looks pretty good. Paper hands. Your fucking profile picture is pretty fucking cool. I'll have to lend that to me. Right. I did look at BBAI. BA down. I can see why you'd do that. Lower time frames seem to, yep, you filled up that empty space, hit the floor, falling back down, you filled your gap. And where's the empty space? Okay, so I guess you have what is that? That's not a gap. You already filled it. Yeah, I mean, I get a little nervous sometimes taking it inside of a box. It didn't really fully hit, so there's no telling, man. You could go and hit 199.82 again. That is telling, being gapping, pushing down like that. So if you took it, I would be saying or looking at 197.50. I guess really the only way that this is worth it is if it gets to 187.67 for a full on retest. That's where it makes the most sense. Do I teach how to sell options? No, I don't. I don't do it personally, so I'm going to teach it per Nike up. Not bad. Little weird on the takeoff here. Let's see here. So you got a nice boss. We got a channel here that's cooking. Let's see. That's too sharp. Yeah, I don't want to go with that. I mean, first of all, yes, there's a floor up above you, and you've been fighting against it. You dipped back down, you retested, you're going green off of that. So I certainly could see this thing making an attempt to go higher. That ultimately should take you right up past $65, where you would have your next target, and that should be a 66 flat target. Like everything else, he gapped up today, and it is over like 63. That would really need to take off. You do have a high of day. Again, you could take it there, but that's kind of where I see you were held before and then dipped back under for a punch down. So yeah, let's see. What about that channel? There's the channel. Yeah, there's definitely more room up there. That's a crazy clean box though. Good heavens. SMCI down. Yeah, I mean, you definitely, I mean, at least the 4 hour candle, 24 hours really inconclusive, but you popped up, you retested. Looks like you retested the 50% mark in that range and you are falling. So, yeah, I'd say the gap fill at 40 is definitely in the cards for sure. That being said, if you would have to, of course, punch through that box and lose 39.72 to keep moving down lower. CRM. Ugh. Earnings Wednesday. Does it perform decent-ish? Yeah, rips. Not super great, especially when it's in range. Have Mount Monster. Let's see here. I think I struggle with charts that are fucking so choppy like this. They just are harder to mark. I mean, so you came back, you retested. I see empty space and a retest of 250. If you were to break down and go crazy to the upside, I see a 308 target. First green candle to your left past the resistance you're currently up again. So, Dell currently up against your trigger as well, 116.50. So this is either, and I mean, you're kind of struggling here. You got a gap underneath you. So I think the end goal here is to hold that. Otherwise, this could end up being a rejection, and you come right back to this floor where that could open up a downside trade, bang back up, and then you could go. Pfizer swing. Pfizer. What the fuck? My F button is not working. 2380 would be my target. Oh, just over 2370, 2380. Give it the box. Yeah, 2380 and 2415. Damn. You hit that? Do you hear that fucking note, y'all? I hit that shit. Almost broke the glass. What the fuck do you want me to do with this thing, man? I've had more fun riding a dead horse. Good heavens. What is this? Ugh. I feel like I'm picking up a dead bug when I was a kid. I don't know. I have no idea, my boy. I don't like to pretend like I know what's going on all the time, because I don't. And I have no fucking clue what this is. I don't see structure. Anything that I think I want to draw, like here, doesn't make any fucking sense. This is just a big green candle with a floor, so that's been tapped off of. That's 340. So maybe if you get above 89 cents and get past 150, you can go to 350. So why you can't? Dude keeps trying to get me look at APP. I dig that. That already broke, so it doesn't fucking matter. You've got a wall here. That's what you're pushing off of today. You are outside of the candle closes at 374. That is also piggyback. Oh shit, it's 4 o'clock. So basically above 386.50. Yeah, you could see the rest of this empty space get filled up. Now, as soon as you move the 4-hour, structure becomes clear. 440 would be a target as well. So, yes, sir. Okay.
Hey Potter, I have a question about something that you said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So on Google's chart, so I'm looking at the most recent price action, 2 hour, that box that we're in. So I remember you said before that kind of like when you like push down and then you gap up off of the floor above cost basis, that it's like a really strong indicator to continue moving up.
Right.
And it seems like that's like what we did. The box that I have, we are at the floor, kind of pushed below it, and then the next day we gapped up over cost basis.
Say, Potter,
Yeah.
do you not take trades at all if you have stuff to do the next day?
If I'm really busy, then yeah, no, I'm not going to. But to what you were saying, man, you've got three. So this is interesting in a way because you don't actually have a box, right? Where's the box? You pop up, you hit the floor. The next day, you pop up, you don't fill the gap, you go hit a new target, and then you just drop down. And when you do, you retest or reuse that previous wall. You then fly down, you fill your gap, right? You're still sitting on top of this fucker, and it keeps you from going down. So there's really not even a word for whatever the fuck this is. You know, I don't have a, you're just reusing a previous resistance. So I can acknowledge that above 173 that gets up and out. And yeah, if it was it has the points of contact, right? To be that box, but it's not, right? I think it actually could be what will
It's
likely
missing the
be.
volume.
Right. Well, no, it's missing the full rotations, right? We need when like a box doesn't a box should do something like this, right? So you go back up, you hit the same wall, you hit the same wall. And we're actually going to talk about this, right? Like this is a high quality box. Um something like let's see here. Like that. That is not a high quality box, right?
Yeah.
But does it have a range? Yes. And do ranges typically provide 50% bounces? Yes. So do I look at them the same way or draw them the same way as I do my boxes? Yes. Because it's better to have some sort of understanding of where sellers control the price and where buyers control the price, but it's not a box, right? Anything like this, right? That's a box. And you punch through it and you made a new high. You hit your high and now you're reusing that previous top as your cost basis now because you're moving that volume around. That's a good box. You know, even something like this where it's not my favorite, but it's still a fucking box. And what do? You bounce off cost basis. So yeah, there is you know, it needs to look a certain way, you know. Um in order for me to say, yeah, that's gonna operate as such. It's not.
Okay, I got you. Thank you.
You just financed your house off of UNH. Oh lordy, Luigi's about to get another one. Proxy. No, just kidding. Um, let's see here. I don't know what your intentions are with this stock. That's a tough one. So again, not a box, right? A range, shares, points of contact, not a box. Would I still say that there's likely a target somewhere around cost basis or where we would interpret that to be? Probably, but it's not a box. So you have a gap right here, right? You haven't fully filled it. You have a retest at 284.50. So it'd be kind of like these two marks. And if you break those, I would assume you're going to continue moving down. But at the moment, it looks like you are still in a box. You have multiple rotations, so it's a move over 303 to get you up and out. But one could also say that you're about to do some crazy shit like this, and I am kind of on the side that that could happen. So if you want to get out, right, you need to get here, and that's where you could target a little bit more empty space. But more or less, I think if you want to get a good move, you need some of this shit. All right. Nvidia, well, it's a little late now, but it's okay. Yeah. It looks okay. It looks just about like everything else. Weak close today. Not really convincing. Um, but as far as the 24-hour is concerned, you are just in opening up a candle in range. I think the follow through is over 136. Um, it has earnings. Sorry, it has earnings. So that's kind of more or less what we're waiting for. And I could see 170 if things go absolutely fucking bonkers. And you could probably find some way to trade that. You know, kind of saw this channel here, so um, yeah, the candle closes today look pretty good. SPY right up against cost basis. QQQ. This one, you know, pushing off of that floor. It did cross cost basis. I don't like how weak it was, but you know, regardless of that, I'm looking for a break over 522.61. Got a first target of 525.71 above that. I look at IWM. Yeah, IWM has a, again, not yet triggered, but does have a punchback and a gap to fill at 209. Once 209 is crossed, we have a target outside of that at 212. So, all right,
But for
folks.
tomorrow, are you 2-1 IWM calls to puts?
No, I haven't. I have not done that yet.
Oh, okay, you haven't taken it.
No, I haven't, dude. Honestly, man, I had a really good day. I almost made 10 bands. So
Oh shit! Hell yeah!
I don't really feel that external pressure right now to hop into
That's all
something.
you. That's it, Potter.
That's it. You know what? Fill my bank account then.
Don't feel any external pressure in the back, puppy?
I'll give you some internal pressure, buddy. You better calm down.
Hey Potter, can I get a
Surprise,
computer?
motherfucker.
What?
Can I get a computer?
Can you get a computer? Can you provide me great value and send me a a wedding photo, a picture to hang above my bed? Can you do
I
that?
can do that.
No, you
I know
haven't.
exactly what you like. Sent.
It's gonna be a picture of Elon Musk right above your
Yeah.
bedroom.
210s are cheap for tomorrow, guys. Just throwing that out there.
Hey Potter, did you take Roku? Because it closed pretty good.
I did not. I should have, but I didn't. Sorry. I'll take it tomorrow if it's still available. Oh. Yeah, grab a little IWM, 210s to the upside, and see if we can't yuck it up. I'm looking at 202 downside. That's ridiculously cheap. You don't even have to go 1-to-1. All right. That's it. I'm out.
All right, fellas, you guys have a good one. I'll see you
Yeah.
guys tomorrow.
Yeah, I hope you guys had a great day. I will keep you guys updated for the new workshop, and yeah.
Thanks, Potter.
Yep. Peace.
Gracias,
By the
señor
way,
Daniel.
yeah, and make sure you guys, those of you who are new, go watch this live back. Go write down things, go ask whatever it is, but make sure you guys go back and watch these, especially, tomorrow morning before the live. If you wake up, before me, that's probably a good way to start. So, all right, guys, peace. I'm out. By the way, TikTok, 25%. We're going to drop that soon. For those of you guys trying to get in on this live workshop. So, peace. All right.